Awesome. So excited to be here. Thank you to Rodney for hosting such a beautiful space for expansion. Thank you for all of you for showing up. How beautiful it is to truly exist in this world. How beautiful it is. So I first just wanted to start out really quickly before I get into anything, and I wanted to raise the room a little bit and just say, we're all going to do some affirmations really quick because Rodney's here and we're all going to be becoming game changers tonight. We're going to be on this movement. So I want you to start out by saying, just repeat after me, when I say I am, I want you to say game changer. I'm going to say this 3 times. We're going to imprint this into your mind, imprint this into your DNA. Does that sound like something you guys can all do?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So are you ready?
Yes.
I want some power. Come on. Hello. Are we there? Are we game changers? All right. Are we coming? All right. So I am.
Game changer.
I am.
A game changer.
I am.
A game changer.
Awesome. 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 I love it. So my name is Colleen Gallagher, and really what a privilege to be here. I flew from Arizona. And when Rodney just said it was his 25th year from his accident, it's actually my 25th birthday tomorrow. I got chills. And, you know, what a way, what an extraordinary vortex, may not be the word, but of energy that's combined here, and what this social media realm, what technology can do. And, you know, so many times when we ask ourselves, you know, who am I? We look in the mirror and we say, what am I meant to do? Who am I? What am I supposed to be doing here? Who am I? Am I supposed to be going to work? You know, from a very, very young age, at the age of 14, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I had a very normal upbringing and grew up with an amazing, amazing family. And I was playing basketball, doing my thing. I was point guard. I was going for the layup. Whoa! I was like, let's go. And I fell. Couldn't breathe. Hyperventilating at 14. And I went to the hospital. And what they said to me at that moment is they said, Colleen, to my parents and me, you have a huge lump in your neck. You'll be on medication for the rest of your life. It's going to be very hard for you to have kids. And this is the life that's happening. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be ugly. That's all I can think, because I'm going to have a scar on my neck. Life is over, you know. And I'm 24 right now, just to give some context, as I said. But, you know, from that time, what happened from there is there was a lymph node that was wrapped in my jugular vein. So I had to do another surgery 8 hours later. And what happened was a lot of suppression. A lot of suppression. I was a moment when I was in the hospital, and there was another little girl and I. We were playing with those little play cubes, you know, in the hospital. And her dad yelled at her mom. And he said to her, the only reason we're in this position to not pay for our daughter's treatment is because you're a stay-at-home mom. So some things happened to me from a very, very young age that I did not realize. But one thing that really imprinted is that you needed money to have love. And you needed money to not die. So, what happened from a very young age, I didn't know. I became very, very money hungry. I went to Michigan State University, go green. I was a marketing major. And I went through a lot of suppression that I want to talk about with love and with men. And I would put myself in really bad situations. And I started recreationally using drugs on the weekends and things that way. And it was a very, very time when I didn't really realize what I wanted. But I was like, well, I'm making all this money. You can just spend it on whatever. And from the age of 17, I was working for Fortune 200 companies, making $5,000 a month minimum. And I was sitting there like, this is so easy. Money is so easy to make. It's coming from everywhere. And I've traveled all over the world, been to like 35 countries, 28 of the 50 states. I've been all over. And I was sitting there, and I sat there, and I remember in college, I would keep going, like, what can make me the most money? Can I just make the most money? I want to make the most money, because when I make more money, I'll finally be happy. When I make more money, I'll finally be able to travel the world. When I make more money, I'll finally be like the CEO of my dreams. When I make more money, I'll finally prove the point that women are equal at the table, because I'll never have to realize what that man said to that mom. And I kept going, 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 and I worked for a $23 billion company. I was a sales engineer, and I was a marketing major. 5% of women in the industry, and I would be there. I grew a sales territory 0 to $1 million in 8 months, then 5 million to 8 million in 8 months.
That's good.
And Again, like I said, money was the easy thing, right? It was easy to me. Let's just make money. Let's make all the money we can. Let's get all the money. Let's just get it. And I'll finally have everything. Finally have the love. I'll finally have everything I truly desire in me. Like I'll finally feel alive, that moment. And there's so many stories I could go into about this. And there's a moment in my life that I want to share with you that was one of the most game-changing moments of my life. And, you know, I was making around, I don't know, $80,000 in salary at the age of 22, 23, company car, making $10,000 salaries or bonuses every month. Very normal. Normal. And I was still, like, you know, using drugs on the weekend. And after all of this, thinking it was normal, it was normal, it was normal. And I was somehow still like this rock star and the CEO. Like, I mean, I was like going up the corporate ladder. I was like woman in business of this $23 billion company, like going on all of their things. I was raising money for cancer. Like, I was raising close to $20,000, $30,000 every launch I would do for fundraisers to help people pay for treatment instead of research, because I really don't believe we want to find a cure due to pharmaceuticals, which is what it is. But anyway, that's not a conversation. What I want to focus on is the moment, you know, I was dating this guy and we were in New Orleans, and his friend came up and sexually grabbed my hair and said, I would hook up with you better, all these things, la, la, la. And what happened in that moment is the guy I was dating said, it's all your fault. He said, you're the one that's created this. It's your drama, not mine. Now, I recreated the story I was most fearful of, right? I recreated the story because I was attached to the story I saw when I was a 14-year-old girl. Now, game changer mentality. I stayed in the relationship, ended up being emotionally abusive, was still going. Finally, I was at a point when I left a $1 million deal that I was doing. All white men, all awful husbands, talking about how they were treating their wives, talking awful about their children. And I sat there and I said, this can't be my life. I cannot have this be the rest of my life. And that was December of 2016. So I was like, you know what? My dream was always to live internationally. I'd been to a ton of countries already, and I was like, I need to do this. I need to figure this out. But the USA makes it seem impossible to get a visa, so I never thought that you could do it without doing a higher education or a company. Well, I was so heartbroken, I decided, you know what? I'm going to Google. I'm going to Google if I can get a visa. What popped up? Australia, New Zealand, $20 visa for 1 year if you're under 35. Perfect! Thank you for allowing me to see this Google. Thank you for allowing me to expand my awareness and be a game changer in my own life. Thank you, because I never saw the opportunity before. I was completely broken. And I applied for my New Zealand visa. I got it within 24 hours. Saved for 3 months, left my corporate job, moved across the world to New Zealand. Lost all of my friends. All of everything, because people are like, you're crazy, you're throwing your life away, you're on Forbes under 30, like you're going to the top of this company, like why are you leaving America? You've really lost it. I was like, no, everyone, I'm finding myself. Like, you know, what does that mean? And so, you know, I was going in and I went to New Zealand, and here I show up. I threw out 28 trash bags of clothes. How many people in here love clothes? Like, they love what they wear? Yeah, okay, like I had 200 pairs of shoes. Like, who loves shoes in here? Yeah. Like I had like custom, like this was a hard thing. I threw them like all out, gave everything away to the Red Cross. I was like, oh my God, here you go, 28 trash bags of clothes. And I show up in New Zealand with my 2 suitcases, and I'm like, all right, New Zealand, here we go. Like, we're doing this. And I had an Airbnb for a month. And I like hired a recruiting firm. I was like, I know I'm gonna leave corporate, but I just don't know yet. And this was April 2017. And show up, manifested a job with a $400 million company within 4 weeks, covering Australia and New Zealand. Powerful manifester. Second thing that I saw. So I'm there, I'm doing my thing, you know, living my life, like traveling all over, living the best life ever. And what happened is I realized, you know what, there's got to be more to this. Within 3 months, I got promoted to APEC marketing manager. I was covering Korea, Taiwan, Japan, Australia, and New Zealand. Powerful manifester. So I was like, there's got to be more to this. There's got to be more people I can help, because this addiction to money is not the answer. Because I'm still so unhappy. I'm still so unfulfilled. I'm still living in this place that's surrounded by all men that are very masculine, that don't even know why they're here besides a paycheck. I was like, I've got to figure this out. This is not even just a country thing anymore. This is like a global issue now that I've tested and made sure of. So my little research side of me. And, I go, you know what? I think I have to do this. So it was a year ago, actually, to this day. I was going on my first flight to Fiji, my entrepreneur retreat. I was like, I want to spread some love in the world. Let's go do this. Let's be a love girl. And I was like, all right, we're going to figure this out. We're going to spread some love. And we're going to figure out how to really remove this masculine energy, this competitiveness, this money-hungry driven. Like, this is how it has to be done. We're going to figure this out. So off I go on my flight to Fiji. And I'm like sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, yay. And it's all New Zealand entrepreneurs. So I remember I'm messaging the people. I'm like, I'm American. Is it okay if I come? Like, no answer. And I just booked. Who cares? So I'm the only American of all New Zealanders, which is cool. And going on and feeling good and doing these amazing things. And so it's first time around multi-millionaires, like people that are like getting known globally. And people are like, oh, what do you want to do? I'm like, well, I'm just in corporate. I want to spread some love. Like, who's been there and been like, oh, I have a dream, but like I feel like kind of stupid for having this dream because it seems so far away. Yeah. Do you guys know about that? Uh-huh. So that's how I felt. And I was in Fiji with these people that are talking about like $1 million deals, and I'm like, I just want to spread some love. And I remember I go to the beach. I take a picture of the sunset, and how my lens captured it. There was a heart around the sun. I said, that's it. I'm going all in. I've got a game change. So basically, from that point, what I did is I saved for a month, and I left my corporate job with $5,000 in my bank account. That was January of 2018. Since that time, I've lived a completely freedom lifestyle. I've been to LA, Malta, Sicily, London, Russia, Thailand, Bali, all of these places all over the world. I've written a book, speaking events, podcasts. I've helped people get $1 million months. And I've never, ever once looked back or regretted it. But let me tell you, there are so many points in this story of freedom. There are so many points in the story of living my heart. There are so many points of releasing masculine competitive energy that I've been taught that I had to release. That I had to look myself in the mirror and say, am I worthy of this? Do I deserve to be doing this? And there were so many moments this occurred in these past 11 months of my life. And I remember right when I left my job, it wasn't until April, I was doing all of the funnels. I don't know if you guys know what funnels are, but anyway, Facebook ads, funnels, copywriting, the secret strategy to do this all. And I was like, I'm going to figure this out. Because I make a lot of money. I'm good at making a lot of money. I've done it for corporations. Like, of course, I'm going to do this, right? Well, 4 months in, using all of the things, doing all of the copyrights, it's not working. I'm basically selling a 6-week program ahead of time for $997 for 6 one-on-one calls, 5.5 hour video content, like pages of PDF workbook, and 24/7 access to me via Voxer. So let's talk about making a lot of money and then going and saying, oh, okay, I've made a lot of money for everybody else, but now when I'm being authentic, when I'm being myself, I can't make money. Talk about that for rejection. Talk about that for saying, why was I here? Why did I make it? Maybe that dad was right. Maybe money is the way to make love. Maybe money is the way to not die. So, that was April. Well, I'm sitting there, I remember in Hawaii, I'm like living my best life, super stressed out. I'm on the beach, like doing my copy, and a little bit crazy, like a human. But there was a mentor that I came across, and I invested $30,000, and I got into a 12-month program. I invested another $10,000 to get into an event that was learning how to brand and do things. Invested another $7,000, all within about a month, to go to this thing about finding my soul, my feminine intuition. What does that even mean? I'm supposed to be this masculine human that's, inseparable. I'm superwoman. There's nothing bad that ever happens. Everything just works out for me. Well, from that time, everything shifted immediately. From that time, I realized that your heart was what gave you freedom. From that time, I realized every past story that you're living into the now gets to dissolve. I realized that every past story that you repeat into your reality or vibrationally speak to someone else only recreates that reality for you in this moment. Does that make sense to you guys? I feel like I want to make sure. Does that make sense? Getting it? Yeah. So there was a lot of game changer moments in this story, and now in my life, like I said, I live all over the world. I'm getting my master's in global technology and development. I'm getting a PhD. I'm helping refugees understand how we can treat them as resources. I'm influencing third world and developing nations policies. I'm getting them grants. And I'm a coach, an entrepreneur, author, speaker, all of the things, basically. But because I started living with my heart. And the number one thing that I want you to take away from everything that I'm saying, a game changer mentality, your birthright, the number one thing is whatever you're desiring to live right now, whatever that dream is, whatever that thing you look yourself in the mirror, you're like, I want that so badly. I want that so badly. Like, why can't I have that? I want you to know, I want you to believe, I want you to feel into your heart, you already, what you desire, have to become that mindset. You have to be, do, and have the mindset of what you already want. You must be, do, and have. When I didn't have $40,000, whatever it was, at the $50,000 at the time, I pretended that I did. I figured it out because I knew how important to invest in myself was. And since April, I've invested an additional $85,000 in my personal development. That's not even considering my higher education. And I want to tell you, from what I've learned from all of my manifestations, what's occurred in my life, you must believe from a game changer mentality, you must believe you be, do, and already have what you desire. If you desire to have more love, then be more love for yourself. If you desire to live with more freedom, then be more free with yourself. If you desire to live with true contribution, then contribute more to yourself. It starts from within. 20% of all of this, a mentor told me, is strategy. The funnel is the other thing, the network. But if you don't show up with who you are and you are unapologetically yourself and your truth, good luck. Even when it's hard, even when you don't want to, we want to say, like, this is not what I desire to be. This is not who I want to be. Do it anyway. Be it for yourself. It's the number one thing I want you to take away from this. And the second thing that I want you to take away from these stories, and everything that you're doing right here tonight, change your environment. Change your environment again and again and again and again and again. It doesn't just stop at once. Change. The reason that I've had rapid success, the reason I've helped someone get $1 million a month, the reason that I've helped someone, that I have a $10 million or $100 million CEO calling me asking how he can build an orphanage in his business, is because I already showed up that way. And I changed my environment to be around those people. Change your environment every single day. Change what you're thinking about every single day. You know, something that I'm creating and manifesting is Global Citizen University. There is no nations, there's no border, there's no race, there's no anything. We're all one. It's one love. But I changed my environment consistently to get around people who believe in that message. It's the second thing I want you to take away. The third thing I want you to take away from today, from the story that I shared, is invest in yourself. Cryptocurrency, what is it? Like housing and vacations and whatever else you can invest in these days to make money. It's great. You can make a lot of money. I just proved that you can make all the money you want in the world. And if I really didn't believe in what I was doing, I could go be sitting on an island right now with Wi-Fi, and I would be golden. That would be fine. I know how to do that. But invest in your personal development. Invest in yourself, because that's the greatest asset you will ever have to be a game changer. A game changer doesn't sit there in the middle of an island on Wi-Fi pretending that they're making an impact and being of service to others. A game changer shows up in the environment to be of service to humanity, to share authentically and vulnerably with their heart wide open. Because a game changer knows that with that feminine intuition, that heart, that soul, that deeply desire to live, to be with truth, that human knows that when you do that, the masculine precision, the masculine truth will come in and will let you succeed. So this is what I wanted to share, and I'm so grateful that you all are here. So grateful that you all are willing and open to see things differently, to have a game changer mentality. Because there's so many people who aren't here on a Saturday night. There's so many people who are wishing, hoping, praying. You changed your environment. You're in a room with game changers. You're investing in your personal development. You're already seeing you can be, do, and have what you desire. So I honor all of you so much. As I would say, global citizens, epic human beings of light. This is the way of the future, and the future is now. And you absolutely have the power and the choice to become part of the largest peaceful army of love, a game changer that is lifting the vibration of the planet by simply being you and showing up from your heart with the masculine precision to do what you love, because just being you is absolutely enough. Thank you.